Good morning, and welcome to Tuesday mornings. David and Alyssa Muller coming at you. And this week, we're talking about habit number 3, which is sharpen your saw. It's all about your skill set. Alyssa, talk to us a little bit about sharpening your saw.
Yeah, this is my favorite habit. It basically helps you educate yourself. And when I say educate, I don't mean like college education. I mean like straight up activity education. So the cool thing about sharpening your saw is while you're striving to be the best in your category, you're going to be learning along the way. And I think my favorite way to do that is mentorship. But depending on what the skills that you're wanting to learn, it could be education. If you want to be the best doctor, if you want to be the best entrepreneur, all of those things are going to take different things, different ways to sharpen your saw. But I think this is the most humbling piece of the 5 habits. And I think the one where the most growth happens outside of just getting better at what you do. So that's why I love it.
Yeah, I love it too because I love learning, and this is all about learning and growing. Now, habit number 1 is about growing your mind, and it's all about taking care of your mind and what goes into your mind, garbage in, garbage out. Habit number 3 is all about your skill sets. Whatever it is that you've decided to do as your niche, or whatever project that you're on, whatever you've decided to do, become the best. Now, the habit is to always strive to become the best. Now, keep in mind, you don't have to be the best to do very, very well at whatever it is that you do. But the habit is always to strive to be the best. Whatever the skills are, work at those skills. And so we have some best practices. These are some tips or a strategy, if you will, on how to learn anything. We live in a world today where all of the knowledge of all mankind from all of the ages is available to us with just a couple of clicks of a mouse. And so I think it's awesome that whatever it is that you want to learn, you can learn today. Whatever it is you want to get better at, you can do that. So here's a couple of things. So I have kind of a 5-step plan on how to learn anything. Once you've decided what it is that you want to learn or what it is that you want to get better at, the first step is to educate yourself. Obviously, you want to educate as much as you can. So I would suggest watching 3 to 5 videos. Go to YouTube and just type in the topic that you're looking for and find 3 to 5 videos and watch those. Not just watch them, but study them. Take notes as you watch them. And then also grab a couple of books, 2 to 3 books on your topic, and study those also, which is different than just reading the book. Study that material. And then podcasts. There's so many podcasts out there. Find an expert at what it is that you're wanting to get better at, and listen to their podcasts. Listen to it on a regular basis. Now, these 3 different types. You got the audio, you got the text that you're reading, and you got the videos. Those are all different types of input into your mind. And the first step is to educate yourself and consume that, but also take notes. You got anything on that, Alyssa?
Yeah, I think obviously we all know that we have strengths in our learning. So some people are visual, some people are audio. The thing about writing notes is it has been proven scientifically that once you process something and then you actually put it in writing, the download, the actual saving into your brain is a lot more higher percentage than if you just do one of those things. For me, I'm a visual learner for sure. But I also, when I read, if I don't write it down, it literally goes out so fast. Like I start thinking about other things and what I need to get done. And, my mind, I don't have ADHD, but I understand and I can empathize with people that have ADHD, because when I read, that's what happens to me. So when I'm writing, it centers me and definitely gets me in the zone of focusing on what it is that I'm there to actually accomplish. And then I think, the part that I was alluding to before is, along the way, you're going to fail. You are going to make mistakes. You're going to fail forward. And I think this is the part of our habits, 1 through 5. I think number 3, again, the reason why I love it so much is you have the best shot of growing the most in habit number 3. If you can get your ego in check, like let your ego go. I call it edging God out. Now, that's my own philosophy, but ego is a huge deterrent to growth. For many of you that know me personally, I grew up and I'm an expert in the field of gymnastics. And so the interesting thing about that is, when I was in my 20s, I remember seeing these people that are my age now and thinking, oh my gosh, they're so old. First of all, hilarious. But I also just thought to myself, I never hope that I have that type of attitude. Like, oh, I'm 50, I've arrived, I know it all. And I'm happy to say I will be 50 in July, and I definitely know that I don't know it all. I am an expert in my field, but the cool thing about being an expert is you also know that the moment that you stop learning is the moment that you pretty much are dead. So you're just the walking dead. If you really feel like you have nothing more to learn, then you might as well just hang up your hat. And so those are the things that I would add to what you just went over, David.
That's awesome. That's so true. And it brings us to the second step in how to learn, how to get better at anything. The second step is to find a mentor. Mentors make your journey faster and better because they see things that you don't see. Now, we're going to go into a little bit more detail about mentoring and mentors next week with habit number 4. But whenever you're learning, you're getting better, you're increasing your skill set, get a mentor, because they have a perspective on what it is that you're trying to do that you will never have. And so it's important to have that additional insight. And a mentor can take on different forms, a coach, a teacher, a guru, an expert, whatever term resonates with you. This is what we're talking about. And that brings us to number 3. The third thing, once you've studied your topic, you've got your mentor, you've got all your tools ready to go. The next thing, if you want to get better, ultimately, you have to practice. Practice. You got to do it. You have to, and it might be uncomfortable at first. Otherwise, you'd be doing it already, right? But as you do it, it becomes less and less uncomfortable. And pretty soon it becomes uncomfortable not to do it. And that's when it becomes habit. And that's really where all the magic happens. But as you increase your skill set, you'll notice, things will become easier. And so you want to always kind of keep pushing it. Just like building muscles, you keep pushing them, you keep breaking them down, and they keep building back up, and you keep using them, and you do it, and it's painful. It's painful at first. But the pain is where the growth is, and that's why just practice. Practice with intention. Practice with an effective frequency. Figure out, when you're learning to play a musical instrument, you don't just practice for a week straight and then you're good, right? You practice daily, a little bit at a time, 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, whatever it is. You practice at certain intervals. Because over time, you get better and you get better. You want to talk about that at all, Alyssa?
Well, I just think that, this is the part, again, this is number 3 of the 5 that Dave is going through of the number 3. So I just think it's ironic. Number 3 is the part that, a lot of people stop here. They're either planners and they love to educate themselves, but when it comes to taking action, they freeze because they're too scared of failing. Or sometimes, oddly enough, they're too scared of succeeding. What does that mean when you succeed? That means people are going to look up to you and judge you and think that you're this expert, and some people are afraid of that. That's a lot of pressure when you look at it kind of the scarcity way of that. So you're going to find what your deal is when you hit the action button. The other thing that I would say, and we'll go through this obviously on the next habit of our 5, but when you have a mentor, it's very important to have a mentor there for you to make those pivots and adjustments, because you will slide back. Like David said, it will be painful. It is like building a muscle. You will tear down before you rebuild, because when you build, you're not going to build it perfectly. And that's what you have to understand. And that's why I'm a huge advocate of keeping your ego in check and having a strong mentor there to help you. And so that's what I would like to add with that part.
That's awesome. That's strong. So the 4th step in how to improve your skill set, any skill set, even faster. First, educate yourself. The second one is find a mentor. The third one is practice. And then once you've practiced, the 4th step is to evaluate. Stop and take a look at how you're doing, right? Take a look at how you're growing, how you what's hard and what used to be hard and now is easy. You just kind of evaluate how you're doing on your progress and how you're implementing the things that you learned from the studying that you did when you educated yourself, and what you've learned from your mentor, and then you put the stuff into practice, and then now evaluate. How did all of that stuff go? How did it go? We reevaluate weekly on a weekly model. Ultimate Achievers that are part of the Alliance, that are running the Ultimate Achievement System, we run this weekly model. Every week we check in. How are we doing? What did we learn? What did we grow? What did we accomplish? What didn't work? What did work? We celebrate wins, and we celebrate the failing forward moments also. But I digress. The 4th thing is evaluate. And number 5, practice more. Once you've evaluated and you've assessed what you've learned and how it's worked and everything, then practice more. And just keep repeating all 5 of those steps. Educate yourself, get a mentor, practice, evaluate, practice more, adjust, tweak. And that literally is a pragmatic approach on how to increase any skill that you want, or how to learn anything that you want. And in today's world, like I said, it's never been easier. Now we're running short on time, so you want to say anything else about
I think, I'd like to bookend it with the other way to speed up your, sharpening the saw is to teach somebody else. And we go through that in our other habit, but definitely teaching somebody else, man, you can make such great strides with personally, like when you actually try to teach somebody else how to do. I mean, you don't want to do that out the gate. Obviously, you want to be somewhat of an expert, or at least excellent, before you start teaching somebody else. But man, it's pretty humbling too.
It is. It's so powerful. Okay. So with that, if anything that we've talked about resonates with you today, I'd love to see your comments. If anything that we said was offended you or abrasive, I'd love to hear about those too. And with that, tomorrow morning, we're going to hear from some of our Ultimate Achievers, some of the people that are in our Ultimate Achievers Alliance that have been running this system for a while. And let's hear about how this habit has manifested in their life and how they feel about it. I just think it'll be nice to hear from a couple of other Ultimate Achievers. So tune in tomorrow morning for that. And then on Thursday evening at 5 o'clock, come to Ultimate Achievers Happy Hour. You can join the Ultimate Achievers Alliance for free this week at p2klifestyle.com. And with that, Muller's out. See you soon on the side. Boom.